I'm in color. Like, hi. Does that mean we're in Oz? San Diego in color. San Diego in color.
You know what I mean?
Hello. I never know how to adjust these things.
We can hear you.
Yeah? Okay. I don't need to adjust it. I'll just leave it be. Okay. Hello. Wow. This room makes me nervous because there's so many of you. And it's really wonderful. Hello. Thank you for being here. My name is Becca Ray Rose, and this is the 5th Peel Lit reading. And perhaps one of the best turnouts, so this is really great. Yes, I think I already said my name. Did I?
Yeah.
Thank you. If you are not familiar with Peel, it's a literary arts magazine and reading series, a new one, started here in San Diego by myself and Olga Mikolaevna, who has sadly since left me for Philly. She never liked San Diego, but we won't blame her. Well, we will a little bit. But anyways, her moving to Philly means that Peel can now be called by Coastal publication. So very fancy. This is a really special reading because it is our first one that will be a celebration of the release of our first ever issue, which is both online and in print. And some of you have snagged a print issue already. Thank you so much. There are more in the back. So where was I? Yes, we have our print issues for sale in the back. If they look very DIY handmade, it's because they are. They were print and cut and sewn by me into the wee hours of the night. My back hurts a little bit from this endeavor. So yeah, please check them out after the reading if you haven't already. So tonight you'll be hearing from 4 of the contributors to this issue, whose work spans poetry, prose, visual, audio, and beyond. We both have an online and a print version. So there are some things online, some of which you will hear today, that are not in print and vice versa. So even if you got a print issue, please also check out online. There are some things in terms of length and also audio and video that we can do in the online issue that can't be done in print. So intentionally hybrid, trying to span a lot of different forms and mediums. Lost my place again. So in addition to the 4 contributors that you'll hear from tonight, we also have 2 guest poets visiting us all the way from the Pacific Northwest, which is very exciting because a big part of Peel Readings, when Olga and I dreamed them up, was to not only feature San Diego artists and writers and to make a literary space for us to gather, but also to make connections from with literary community from afar. So I'm really excited to also host Eric and Sullivan tonight, so thanks for making the trip. I'm appreciating all the noise. I hate a quiet reading, so snaps and claps are good. Olga never wanted us to snap, but she's not here, so don't tell her. Thank you. I also want to thank Maddie and the Brown Building for having us. That is another clap. Those would deserve thanks no matter what, but especially because they agreed to host us with only 9 days' notice when our other venue became unavailable last minute. So that was really huge, kind of miraculous and amazing. So thank you. And that was another clap. Yeah. I also want to say thank you to Joe, who's not here, but still shout out to Joe for being part of the sound setup. So part of moving to this space also meant it being a huge community effort in getting chairs and getting the sound. So Burn All Books loaned us these chairs tonight, so shout out to them as well. Yeah, truly been a community effort despite the stress of having to scramble for a new spot, the reward of feeling cared for by a bunch of people jumping to help, some of whom I didn't even know already, such as Maddie. That made this really worth it and kind of feels like it was supposed to happen this way all along. So, thank you. Okay, almost done, and then we'll get to the readings. So, been thinking a little bit about what it means to gather right now, of whether that feels like a distraction or an action. in itself when we have an ongoing genocide in Palestine, when we have election results that create more fear. There was already fear that create more fear than maybe we already had. And the only thing that has really worked to assuage my own fear in the last couple weeks has been to think about the hyper-local, the people and community directly around me. And I think that gathering for a purpose that is not in service of the state, that is not in service of capitalism, that is not in service of empire, is a liberatory practice, not as an end, but as a beginning. There is value in gathering for poetry, for art, for writing, for music, for performance. It does not in itself liberate us, but it gives us community on which to lean and build and organize. So I hope tonight is not an end, but a beginning to our gathering in service of each other, in service of liberation. And I hope this space to act as the skin or the rind that holds us and protects us momentarily within it. So with that, let's enjoy the fruit, so to speak, and begin. 7 performers tonight, 2 of which will perform together, and we're just gonna go through them all, come up and introduce them one by one. And first, we have Harper Dang, who is from San Bernardino, California, and is currently seeking work in LA. So, hit her up if you know anyone. Best bio, most effective bio I've ever heard. When asked what they are peeling lately, they responded, "Peeling in the years." I think I should have sang that part, but I'm not going to. All right, welcome, Harper.
Hello. I got a couple pieces for you guys. 2 bits of poetry and a quick short story. I'm just gonna start because I'm nervous. Alright, here's a quick sonnet. It's kind of a sonnet in that it has 14 lines. That's it. Alright, to lick a penny. We braced for a harsh California winter, as if it were not strange enough to lick a penny. Then one had to wonder if it meant anything at all. A cup of black coffee is a cup of black coffee, till a sip of black coffee delivers an unassuming fly into the mouth of an ill-fated, world-weary harbinger. One chicken-feet hawker, racehorse secretary, and her furbished crack house foreclose. Bastard child of a seahorse, I forgive you. I am flown feet first into the tremble. His last words, an honorable admonish, don't shit where you eat. That is the trouble with death and diminuendo. A last excretion, only, don't shit, in one gape breath. So you held it. Alright, this is a sestina called She's Leaving Home. I don't really write in form that often, but I did it for class. And it's nice because it forces me to write. So she's leaving home. There may not be a house in all this land that is adept to the average-footed. Cityscapes and rock-rowed shores, a suburban conglomerate all dismissed, and without yellow kitchen walls, without notched bedposts in rosewood. There remains the issue of consolidation, of taking frames from walls, but more often of peeling laminate floors, never hung except in the chasm place to place. The winged barbs of too full time, never lots for a moment's rest. The world-weary fisherman may search long, but to no avail for a place of rest. Thrashed and drunken, the musician finds themselves once again footed. In all the miserable swallows of Hollywood, there must be a recessing place. A place where the faces all blur with indignation and fault, dismissed and often pillaged from the body of immigrants that have come to claim and often make fire of scarcity, forgetting that there was once the sweated rosewood. Many have come and gone from the proverbial swamp, the ladder of rosewood. The silence comes to form in an ergonomic keyboard or a days and nights rest. We are much too tired too strung over several poles to recall, still and often, that we must resign to the sweetly light and adored-footed dream, that we need not tick the years off fingers, that it is all dismissed, effortlessly light, valuable, without figment nor place. There is no street sign, only a pot with a plant on a porch that makes a place. 2 twin beds in separate rooms, long anticipated with a bed in rosewood. There is a home with a cement slab impressed with 2 small hands, dismissed in date, difficult to remove, possibly paved over by now with the rest of the dog fur and mud pies and wood-handled slingshots. There is an unappeased way about the Santa Anas tonight. However often they blow through the ravaged valley, faithfully scorched earth, surpassing often the house on Huntington Street, with a much-detested American flag in place. To be nimble is to take notice, in the stained creases of the tile, where the footed stool has worn a divot in the ground, and the lingering scent of a twice-used rosewood shoe rack lends to the dust of guts and all remains, watching the rest move on in the slow march of all the gusts and treads that recede into the dismissed. It is an odd time to mention a familiar face, and I apologize that the name is carelessly dismissed. It is merely one of many that I have loved but cannot speak upon so well or often. The years gone by are ill enraptured, frequented by the unmade bed. Rest comes with great consequence. Emotional overpour or drought, all the same in place at the foot of the bed, at the skirted frame of hand-engraved flowers on rosewood. There is no peace in the past of the ongoing. There is only a clearing less footed. So sigh a great lungful of release and allow the pillows of them to lie to rest. Stretch one arm as far as the shoulder will strain and let it lax into the dismissed. One of the many graces of getting older must be to relinquish the underfooted, to rile more often at home than in the eye of another, and to read too often to only oneself. The consolation must be in the strength of the head on the neck in place. Thank you. A fun one called Tricky Dick. Here lies the fish in a box in the ground in the too shallow grave. There is grim everywhere, but mostly in the box in the ground in the too shallow grave. If you took the grim and put it in a box, there would not be ground deep enough to bury it. It was like that and all around in the summer of '69, all the bad undulating and undressed. Richard Nixon's televised speech on Vietnamization, 1969. The great question is, how can we win American peace? Well, let us turn now to the fundamental issue. Why and how did the United States become involved in Vietnam in the first place? And he tells me. He tells me all was quiet for a long time, and time was going, and for much time after, time was unfurling, and constricting and relaxing until it became long and sinuous, perforated at regular intervals like pages in a spiral-bound notebook, and after another tab it all go tearing at the seams. The man on TV has an esteemed face that turns into the face of a million flags, then births the beaded eyes of Charles Manson, each feature recessing into an equally unrecognizable figure. There is no milk in the fridge, and there is no faith in Haight-Ashbury. Only the barely visible bottom rung of Prospect. There is no news in Haight-Ashbury tonight. Only a toddler named Susan at my door, donning white lipstick and a green army helmet, smiling and saying, "I don't mean to be a drag."
I don't know if y'all caught it, but the word peel was in one of those. It's like a sickness, you start to notice it. Thank you so much, Harper. Okay, next up we have Losar Graal, or Carlos Lara, are writers, translators, and editors, originally from Chula Vista, California, and Varna, Bulgaria. They were tyrants over the controversial poetry and arts journal No Materialism from 2020 to 2022, They have poetry. They have, what are they right there? They have published poetry, authored many chapbooks, a pamphlet, a pseudo-novella, and poetry books including, I said poetry twice, poetry books including Subconscious Colossus from Schism and Like Bismuth When I Enter from Nightboat. A new poetry collection, The Pact of Non-Self, is forthcoming from New Books this year. They have lived in Los Angeles, Olympia, Chicago, Brooklyn, Greece, Argentina, and Saudi Arabia, and they currently reside with their wife and sons in Chula Vista, California. Welcome, Losart or Carlos.
So that's actually, I don't live in Chula, I do live in Chula Vista, but I'm actually moving tomorrow to National City. So, big move. And also, that means all of my books are packed up. And I'm a prolific poet. I don't know if you guys know this, but I'm very prolific. And I have like over 20 publications. And they're all packed up. But luckily I found a dictionary, so hopefully I can like read some poetry from the dictionary. And so because my books are packed up, I'm not going to read from any of them. So I thought that maybe I can just tell you about all the books I've written. So the first book that I published was in June 2016. It was called The Audiographic as Data, or Data, whatever you want to pronounce that. I co-wrote that with Will Alexander, who's a great LA underground poet. It's actually weird, he rides a fine line between underground and sort of mainstream because he was just nominated for the Pulitzer Prize like a couple years ago. But yeah, when he does a reading in LA, like maybe 10 people show up, or something like that. And anyway, The Audiographic as Data is where I sort of realized that I had surpassed the French surrealists in the sense of spontaneously creating images and so forth. I like to think of this as the book where I began to subdue and outshine appearance and existence instead of appearance and existence outshining me. And I'll read a line from The Audiographic as Data. Room to move and sentenced to death, I remove my body hair like a particle with opposite charges. My father's murder was a worthy choice. The second book I wrote was in June 2018. It's called The Green Record. And it's a meditation on, it's basically me setting aside time each day to meditate on my place in the world in Olympia, Washington, and sort of listen to whatever sounds were coming through the trees, etc., and recording that down. So, The Green Record. Here, I'll read a line from The Green Record. One who poses polite and crude is only an illusion, a vivid insect sexually occurring, suggesting a lack of inherent subjective object. And the next book I wrote was called Like Bismuth When I Enter, which I have copies of for sale. That book contains the one poem that I think is perfect. It's called God Wave. And when I say perfect, I mean it's the only perfect poem that I've ever written. And it took me about 9 years to write it. And that book was published by Nightboat Books. It won the Nightboat Poetry Award or whatever. I submitted it to a competition. And I'll read a line from that. Distinctively flavored Southern Hemisphere to industry, liberal, indignant to hell. The point of death is that life is destined for deliberation. So then my next book was a translation of a Peruvian poet named Blanca Varela. And I first got interested in her when I went down to Argentina to work with this poet named Reynaldo Jimenez. And he had put together an anthology of Peruvian poets. And she really caught my eye because she was doing things that the French surrealists were doing without any real contact between them. She did live in France for a time, but it wasn't like she was part of that group or anything like that. So she kind of just, in a sort of parallel way, began writing very similarly, and that sort of fascinated me. So I decided to translate her book. It was called Canto Villano, which I translated as Rough Song. And so here's a line from Rough Song. Remove all the traces by spreading the specified place to an accompaniment, a dish of scholarship, a poetic name for language. So then after I translated that, I wrote a book called Subconscious Colossus, which I call a poetic diptych. The first half is a sort of lyric, visually it's a lyric snaking down the page. It's rapid fire images, one after another. Each line can sort of be taken out of its place and put somewhere else. The order is just sort of, circular. And then the second half of that is an essay on poetry. And throughout the sort of like prose block, the question keeps recurring. He said, what did he say poetry was? And that was based on these discussions that I had with the poet in Argentina, who would always try to tell me what poetry was, and he would describe it with these like just funny metaphors. And so I kind of riffed on that and created my own. And that's the second half of Subconscious Colossus. So I'll read you a line from that book. From the skin of a mammal, thrills, alcohol, 4 players making honorific human activity, something twitching in the resin. And then after that book, I translated another book with the poet Thomas Panitz. And we didn't actually translate, we basically sort of wrote each other poems and retranslated each other's poems back into English. But we called that book The Selected Poems of Charles Tomas. Charles, me being Carlos, him being Thomas. And that book is sort of a hoax because on the back of it there's a blurb where Marianne Cause basically sort of endorses the fact that it's like a real poet, but it's not, and she can't really tell. So yeah, I'll read a part from that. The condition of food, calming, soothing, mathematical compartments, adopted from another keepsake, a large, edible, and great dislike. And then again, I translated a second book of Blanca Varela's called Material Exercises, or Ejercicios Materiales. That was in April 2023. And again, I already told you about her. And that book was published by Black Sun Lit. So I'll read a line from that. Reproducing pressure, reacting for the quality of togetherness, the emission of a fundamental root. It sounds like a line. And then after that I wrote a sort of poetic prose book. I call it fiction only because I hate fiction, and I wanted it to sort of be an affront to the world of fiction. And so that book is called No Material. And actually that's the work that I'm most proud of, even though I said that other poem was the most perfect poem I'd ever written. This is the work I'm actually most proud of, No Material. So I'll read you some of No Material. It's impossible to compress the same number that reproduces the printed or written dust which is swept, that can be left open, that can see martyrs, power, instruments gradually less behind the spinal cord. A couple of words, a couple may take their time, like behavior, like the wrapper for mail, the soil designed to conceal some brightly marked shell. Removable metal, insertion of a bodily channel, just to eat the head, constituting and causing a sexual agency pitted in the area. The Catholic number, the bebop of the earth, fundamental principles inviting or enticing, jutting out to protect the membranous hind wings, beginning, ending, dark red edible root, a separate building used for the sale or exchange of goods, the surfaces all barnyard. So that's basically what that book sounds like. And I've actually skipped a lot, I've spared you guys. So, I guess the last thing I'll talk about is the two new books I'm working on. One is called The Orange Gaze. I'm working on that with Elise Husek, a poet out of Chicago. And we're kind of writing back and forth. She's trying to narrativize my insane images and lyrics. And then I'm writing a book called Non-Theatrical Fire as well. So I'll read you guys some of that. Incorrectly, the perception of reality, to drink it in, the monetary fund of unfriendly feelings, illustrating that treat in condensation, that sound made by concealing the sewer, by patches of overused writing, reflexively, mystique, involved with no pitch, no illegitimate distress, a heavy frame, something hauled over the Central Pacific, comprising emergence, producing young from an egg, and to signal with something broad and flat, to fix in shape the dance, the marker, with astonishment, relating to church, relating to lesions, itching, soundtracks, something editorial, the main current, the economic matter, practicing economy by literary appropriateness. What may be deducted from your reputation? What do you carry other than judgment of another? Coniferous blood, fluid in companies arranged in parts, a confluence of cherry trees. Winged, roughened skin, positively terminal, attached to another by fool. And so, yeah, that's what I'm working on right now. And thank you guys for your time.
This, I'm clearly reading the dictionary wrong. Thank you. Okay, next up we have Sullivan Forterhace,
Yeah.
who is an yep, you can,
Sorry.
Sullivan is an experimental poet living on colonized Duwamish land, but originally from Tennessee. Their work often deals with the duality of joy and grief, and if you want to talk to them about it, they're always down to chit-chat. When asked what they are peeling lately, they responded, "I am peeling clementines, stashing the rind beneath my pillow with cinnamon and dried rose. The moon likes to eat them as snacks when she's waning. She tells me her secrets as she's becoming new." Welcome, Sullivan.
Becca, thank you so much for having us. This is so special. I think that tangible physical art is so important, and especially in the literary scene. And I think coming together, experiencing literary art is really important because it is one of the most solitary types of art, both created and experienced. And community is really important right now and always. So thank you, and thank you for hosting. I have 3 things for you. One is sad, One is less sad, and one is maybe not sad. Fentanyl Hymn 0303. Today, the sky is empty. The ocean, just salt, the forest, a tombstone, the desert, a skeleton of stripped snakeskin and dried arachnid bones. You know, a scorpion can sting its prey again and again until it dies or gets away. Either way, the venom never stops and the pain never goes away. A diamondback can strike you more than once too, but it only needs the one bite. Your heart does the rest. Then they find you all swollen, tie-dyed, blistered, crimson and purple. Death is rarely aesthetic. Take 2 milligrams of synthetic swept up stardust, Lanikia staining the obituary section, and that's how they found you. Limp wrist hanging over the bed, beautiful veiled angel covered in pools of constellations. Lips bruised blue, eyes all rolled back and looking up, unblinking and moving, just like the sky. Sad one's over. And then I like to write something new anytime I read in public because I'm not published anywhere. You can't find me anywhere, except here, right now, today. So this is what I wrote yesterday for this event in particular. So this is literally just for y'all. I may never read it again. I hate dreaming. Actually, I try my hardest not to dream, but I have this reoccurring dream. I don't know if the dream itself is reoccurring over a period of time or if it just plays on repeat one single night over and over and over and over again. Anyway, I hate dreaming. And I have this reoccurring dream. I'm in the field we used to play in back home. Of course, we don't live there anymore. It's getting dark and you're not there. In the middle of the field, there's an actual angel. It's telling me not to be afraid, with its wheels and its thousands of eyes. But I don't think that's a fair thing to ask me. I hate dreaming. Anyway, in the dream, my legs are all scratched up. I think I've been baling hay. It's getting dark and I'm scared, but not of the actual angel. The angel has glitter in all of its eyes. I meet them in the middle of the field to help them pick out the glitter. This will take a while. I'm waiting for you. I know you're coming. Once, when we did live here, we were hiding in the closet. I don't know if this happened in the dream or if it's a memory, but I was scared and my legs were all scratched up. I think I might have fallen. You said you were going to get us out of here one day, but I'm waiting for you, and you're not here. I have this recurring dream. I'm waiting in the place we used to play back home. We don't live there anymore. I don't know where we live now. The actual angel says they will fly me somewhere else once the glitter is out of their eyes. I tell them, no, you're coming. I know it, and I won't leave you. It's dark and I'm huddled in the closet with the actual angel. They ask if I've been baling hay, and I say no, I was running from something. They reassure me that you're coming, but I'm not so sure. They ask why I'm crying, but I just have glitter in my eyes. I don't know where we live now. I hate this dream, and I'm scared. Not of the angel, but why haven't you come yet? I have my doubts, but I won't leave you. I think I fell running from something. The angel's got glitter all over the place. I wonder where we live now. I hate dreaming, but we're getting out of this place. I know it. I'm sitting in the field with the actual angel and all of their eyes, and you roll up in your flying, glittering convertible. You're sorry for being late. You're baling hay. You say, do not be afraid, and I'm not afraid. The convertible is red hot candy red, and it's all scratched up, but it's gonna get us out of here. I knew you weren't gonna leave me here. I knew you were gonna come. We asked the actual angel if they want to come with us, but they're an actual angel, possessing all the wonders of the universe. They don't need a flying car. And anyway, this is just a dream. And then the last one I have for you, Brown Town. Can I cuss? Yeah? Okay. Yeah. Just to make sure. Look up. Natural change occurs gradually. A seed splits off, ferments, takes fruit, lives 1,000 little lives before it even reaches the loam. When a fire swallows every living thing in its path, life does not regrow overnight, but it does regrow. I push my fingertips into the earth now, and when I look up, I see my feet planted firmly on the sky, desperately trying to float away. The base of my spine keeps me tethered. It is the root I cannot break, for this earth is home to me. Look up. I heard on a breeze that we begin and end all at once, never knowing death. Though we might be dazed or stunned in the ether, but only for a moment. Like spinning around and around until you faint. Like celestial boulders twirling around the sun, going on forever and ever, for always and always. Smoldering and crusting at the center of things. A blinding glow without burning each other up. Finding love as a smoggy, indestructible protein. Look up. This is what I'm trying to tell you. This is my eternal truth. Even if I am not here, you will not go into that unknown space alone. We exist on the edge of what is possible. Out here with the edge riders, the addicts, the teenagers who can't go home, the sex work people and the transient people and the people in transition. The people not bleached to the color of cocaine, people who are too neurodivergent or maybe too crazy to hold a desk job. The people too sick to be important to capitalism or whose bodies or hearts are too sensitive. Out here with the faggots and the sluts and the dancers and the artists and the people who do not serve the West. And when the dirt finally gets me, when I begin to blend with everyone I have ever loved, when the sun burns me up or the moon meets my shadow, when they all look to me loving, saying, "Did you ever figure out how to shake that demon? Tell me, honey, did you ever figure out how to get free?" I'll nod my head, corners of my mouth turned up, before becoming the earth, the only home any of us ever know, the home each of us belong to. We must only hold fast, hold fast, hold fast, and look up. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sullivan. Even when you make us feel sad, you make us feel happy at the same time. I don't know how you do that, but it's wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Next we have Kamaya Kulkarni. Kamaya Kulkarni is a fiction writer from Pune. She is currently pursuing an MFA in writing at UCSD. She is currently writing fiction about desire, dying, and daughterhood. Her work engages in an exploration of the relations of privilege and social hierarchies that exist within life in and around Pune, and engages with Marathi bilinguality and the English language in translation. I don't have your Peel words. Oh no.
I can say them myself.
Oh, please do. This fun little question. Lately, Maya said.
Hi. Okay. I think I said something like, is this okay? Yeah, okay. I think I said something like, I'm still feeling time. Which always feels like a very finite resource, especially when things peel off easily or something. Like I was trying to make a connection between like things peeling off easily and time that slips away easily. I don't know. That's my answer. Well, my name is Kimaya, and I'm going to read my fiction, a few pages from my fiction, but before that I would like to throw a shout out to Becca and Olga who read the random essay about Kristeva I had written for my class and decided to publish it in the first issue, and I'm so grateful that it is now nestled between some compelling, gorgeous art. So thank you. And I would also like to express some gratefulness for the beautiful friends that I've made in the literature department that are all present here, and also the wonderful connections that I've made outside the literature department that are here today, and I feel grateful that you made it here tonight. Thank you.
We love you.
So these are a few pages from my novella, which is still in progress, and it's fiction, and I wrote this, I'm still writing this, but I started writing this in spring of this year. Yeah, I think all the context that you need right now is that this is written from the perspective of a 55-year-old woman. So the first person is 55 years old and she has a daughter who is 27. Here we go. I used to be afraid of speaking about death. It used to fill my heart with fear. I don't want to leave the life I have built, I used to think. I don't want to leave my family, my nice little rich life, university job. People respect me. I get along with any government that's in power. I fight with my husband daily, but that also means I never get bored with him. He is a tough little oh, okay. Can someone help me with this? Thank you. My husband is a tough little lion. He's big, but he's little for me. The way his mustache gets in a ruffle when he gets angry, the way his voice rises, the way he goes to a corner, huffs and puffs, thunders, curses, and then after a night's sleep or a working day out, we are back in love, and the thing is, we were never out of it in the first place. It's not possible for me to strain my epiglottis, shout like a banshee for someone I don't think is worth it. He is in love with me, and I love him. I have been a simple, straightforward woman with a wonderful, enriching life. I did not want to leave it. So I tried hard to extend my life. I tried to adopt a healthier lifestyle, which meant eating to your heart's content, but only food that is going to nourish your body, but on time. I also started walking a lot. I gave up my handy scooter and my beloved car and decided to embrace the pedestrian lifestyle. Got splattered with urine, bird shit, painful dust in the eye. I meditated for 30 minutes every day and did yoga thrice a week. I gave up sugar, I gave up jaha. Did it extend my life? Not really, but it gave me assurance that I was doing something about my mortality. Thinking back from the other side, it would have been fine to gorge on Pani Puri a bit more. I didn't want to leave. Even now, in death, I feel like I don't want to leave my life. I love the world I was part of. Unlike my daughter, who gets some unexplainable pleasure out of looking at the world like it's a piece of garbage and analyzing its many cracks, folds, gunk, greases, and protrusions until she begins to heave and cry until she yells things at me she's going to be ashamed of and hangs up the phone with, "I regret ever calling you about this." My daughter hates me. She loves me for being her mother, yes, but if not for this cosmic arrangement in which she happens to be the person I gave birth to, she would never have wanted to be friends with a person like me. Knowing this used to be a source of great pain to me before. I tried to make myself into a person she would like. I started wearing my hair down, the kind of shoes she'd like. I started quoting Ambedkar and bell hooks. I even started standing up to my own husband to impress her. Look, Avni, I wish to catch her attention. Look at me standing up to your father. This is the type of woman she would hang out with, I thought. A woman who wears sleeveless shirts and refuses to make her husband a cup of tea when he requests it. Nothing worked. She continued to hate me. At some point, it broke my heart, but I gave up. Nothing I do will make her like me, I realized. It's the law of this cosmic arrangement. Daughter shall never like mother. Mother will always love daughter. That's not true, a voice in my head says. You like your mother. So the fault remains with me then. I am the exception under the law of this unique cosmic arrangement of these and mine. Life in death is fine. It's just lonely. No one to chat with, nothing to do. I just follow Avni day in and day out. She is upset at my death currently and is acting out in grief. She can't stand looking at her father. He calls her every night. Her face falls every time he does. She picks up, she says hello. My husband is crying at the other end of the line. Baba, Avni says, it's okay. She holds the line and lets him cry. She does not cry. She winces as he wails. Father is no more the person who taught her how to catch butterflies in coconut shells. Father is no more a person who beat a bully to a pulp. Father is no more a person who taught her how to play the game and game the system so that the system does exactly what you want. Avni is tired after her day at work. She slumps on the sofa and switches on the only thing that does not remind her of me, porn. She tries on a few videos, nothing's just right, she gives up. She opens the fridge and takes out a half-eaten 400-gram chocolate cake from Baker's Basket. She got it the day I died. I followed her to the bakery, not understanding why she couldn't hear me. It's when I tried to touch her shoulder that I realized I have turned into some sort of a ghost. She came back home after the funeral rites and gulped down half of the chocolate cake along with the snot and tears that would not stop coming. I hated seeing her like that, but what could I do about it? Next day, I watch Avni have a shower. She is crying audibly, menstrual blood pooling around her feet. Grief has made her fatter. I worry about her. The mind heals, but what about the body? It's not my place to worry about the living, but my daughter is daughter. She's neither living nor dead. What she does is look out of the window for hours as her coffee gets cold in front of her. She places the coffee on the flame, forgets it, the coffee boils over again, she makes another cup and sits at the window again, lets the coffee run cold again. Outside, a house, a bird, a dog, a grandmother. Avni is thinking of me. She's thinking of dying. Next day, Avni goes for a walk. I don't know if I'm bound to follow her in the state of purgatory or whether I can't stop. What's the difference? No one's making me follow my daughter, but I also can't seem to choose to do anything else. So I follow her out the door and out the gate, along the street, down the canal road. We are now walking along the same street that we used to walk along whenever Avni needed to talk about difficult things. Walking side by side, looking at the world but being next to each other, it made it easy for her to not look me in the eyes as she told me about her shame. It also made it easy for her to not shout at me when I said something out of concern that inevitably landed as judgment. We used to halt at the turn and get fresh coconut water to taste some sugar through all the bitterness between us. I wonder whether she'll stop at the coconut stall today. She does not. She goes to her favorite coffee shop, gets a cinnamon roll and a latte. There's not a single good eatery in this city that we haven't fought at. People sometimes recognize us as the mother-daughter duo with tantrums. But people mostly recognize Avni for her plays, though. She opens her laptop and starts typing into the half-finished draft of her play. Mother is dead and I have killed her, she makes her character say. It's night. Avni reaches her grandmother's house. It's silent except for the crickets that are chirping from its rose bushes. The iron gate creaks as she lets herself in. The lotus pond is sleeping. No fish moving about its waters. The fish is resting, holding its eggs close to its chest. The lotus is holding its petals closed like a fist. In the morning, the bumblebee will find its way to the center of the lotus, suck out the sweetest nectar and fly on, fed and satiated. The lotus will be happy to be of use. The lotus in her grandmother's pond is Avni's muse. She looks on. Its purple-pink body, even in sleep, holds itself graceful. Like Nani, Avni thinks. Avni forgets she's not home anymore. I forget my mother's not inside, in her room, sleeping with her mouth open, smelling like cardamom, cloves and sugar, smelling of jasmine, of old sarees kept safe inside the cupboard that never get aired, of books, of grantha, of home. Avni shudders when she remembers that Nani is no more. No grandmother, no mother. Avni walks her sorry frame around the house to the back of the garden. She sits next to the basil plant, rests her head on the tall jackfruit tree. The cat appears from the darkness and nestles into Avni's lap. I watch my daughter pet the cat behind its ears, and for a moment, I become the cat, cuddled into the nook of my daughter's body. I purr, remembering what my daughter's warmth feels like. Next day, I watch Avni sprinkle her instant ramen with chili powder. I hope she goes to the fridge and cuts some fresh onion and gobi and dobri mirchi to add some vegetables to this mess. She does not, only chili powder. She opens her music app and plays a playlist called Ai. That's me, I'm Ai. The first song that plays is Kun Fai Kun by A.R. Rahman. It makes me so happy I desperately want to cry. The first note begins and I am titillated. Avni remembers what my favorite song is. Avni slurps the noodles. They're too hot. The song fills the room. She used to laugh at my love for Sufism and Urdu poetry. I don't know why my interests and likes always made her laugh. She never took my passions seriously. Listening to Gulzar songs in the car doesn't make Urdu poetry a passion, i.e., she used to say. Avni gatekeeps me from being cool. According to her, someone's only allowed to call something their passion if they have extensive knowledge about it that they can quote at the drop of a hat. It's an annoyingly patriarchal and masculine trait picked up from her father, who loves to go, okay, what do you know about the 1940s? And challenge anyone who claims they are passionate listeners of Hindustani classical music. Why do I have to prove absolute knowledge to claim I am passionate about something? My passion is momentous. It moves me to be a better, different, more aspirational person. My passion makes me want to keep on living. Avni thinks she has monopoly over literary character development. She thinks all the life-changing character arcs, signs from the universe, a song lyric mirroring her exact state of mind, artistic catharsis, only happen to her. That's the thing though. I do always want her to believe she is special. This cosmic arrangement, however, also means that I'm never a character she's thinking of as having an arc. I am merely Ai, whose favorite song is Kun Fai Kun. Avni starts tearing up as the song hits the bridge, and I can't tell whether it's all the chili powder overwhelming her senses.
Eric Michael Acosta is a poet. He lives and works in Seattle. His debut collection, Motion Flesh, is out through Chatroom Books. His follow-up, Underbelly, is out through Carbonation Press. He runs the monthly performance series, Unpoetry. Follow on Instagram at The Bottle Meat, and find all of his work at printcopiesavailable.com. In response to the question, what are you peeling lately? Eric responded, I don't have any exact memories of peeling lately. It's been a bit of a problem that my peeling memories are blacked out, seemingly redacted. For months I have sensed an object in my room that has been undone. It gasps toward me. It snores in 6-hour cycles. It says, let me dance, Johnny. Whatever I peeled is there, watching now. It's a little tense, but mainly just weird. Welcome, Eric.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for having me, Becca, Maddie. Very nice to be on the road. I'm going to move this because it's bugging me. Very cool. How's everyone feeling? Friday night poetry, always an interesting call, right? You're like, yeah, fuck yeah, and then about like 40 minutes in, you're like, Friday night poetry? It's not, interesting. Worked earlier, still works. If you're wondering, like, Eric, why'd you bring a tape with that song on it? No. This is your AM radio, San Diego. Dig in. And then if you think to yourself, San Diego has AM radio? Yes, everyone still has AM radio. Watch, check it. Do y'all remember that sound? That's Orpheus looking for poetry. That's a good reference. Y'all get it?
Yes.
I just thought it was a good reference. It's not that deep, but it's a good one. I have books for sale. They're in the back. I forgot to put a price and my Venmo. But I guess if you're someone who takes poetry books from a reading on a Friday night, fuck yeah. Do that. Steal shit. Not stealing. Gives a fuck. It's just words. Oh, I like that we found the Spanish text. This is not answering a text. Although I should text my mother, but now is not the time. Oh, anytime someone reads a sad mom story, I'm like, fuck, I need to talk to my mom more. She's such a nice person, but oh, fuck you. Just so much fuck you. Yeah. This is great. Oh yeah, you're so nice. Black Gateway, The proper pose of perfection, the ancestral baths are filled with drums. Me and John took his carcass out of the van. We're still wondering if it's John or if it's wood. The echo of refractions escape all the ever-whelming, over-morning archons. Three sisters of vision granted. They hutch in the glittering tetral path. Electro-anima, union only, I can never forget your face, dying. Remember, the lens that keeps itself in every withoutness. I believe again how. This is what you call gone. This is what you call finding me. Within all that sickly turning, sway gate side to side, father corned his mother to the I can nevers. Pool knowing, garnish on the plate, faux garnish on the plate, faux garnish of the hero traveling to the ancient ledgers. While Bond's body, the outer shell of coaxial distances in from the sawdust, it was over everything. The damn sawdust covered the bricks, it covered the shoes, covered the wood that was being mercilessly ripped apart by the saws. Do you ever wonder if the wood sees itself being ripped apart? The rhetoric of limbs, right? Thus grotesque and accentuated atrophied trunks. At the center steel we talk round, transitional corners. The present breeds the relational tension, glitter maintenance sub-level line, mob's love is Virgo. The sequence places more around itself fussing. Welcome to the strike. Welcome to the square dismantler. Welcome to the echo. Repetition in a van. The beaches scream surf, 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 surf. Slanting, intense, framed above themselves. Stethoscope, while Bond's body steal habitat. Perceive truth. Sleep again. Wait out to the archons. She's been in volumes. The disaster of distortion. The white fur of opine hostedness. Earlier, we grabbed coffee and the window held within its windows a giant whale. And from in that whale you could smell everything that comes out of a coffee shop. Unwritten plays, work you don't want to do. Somehow sadness. I don't know why sadness. Everyone at the coffee shop is somehow sad that they're at the coffee shop. How did I drive here? Why did I drive here? Am I about to buy this fucking mug? I refuse to be the type of tourist who goes into a coffee shop and buys a mug, but here I am. Fucking $40 later. Is it even a good mug? Does it even mean I bought it from a local place? I can't tell anymore. How many times does it have to say the city on the mug before you realize, yes, I've been there and I remember it? I don't know. I say I miss your sleep on my feet terribly. I've been sleeping with Joni, and I've been talking to her right before. And it's just like you were, when you were there, oozing to your ultimate ending. We said, maybe you have a few months. We said, maybe you have a couple years. We said, I don't know, maybe it's just geometry growing out of your back. I never know what killed you, but I do know that you are dead. And that can be true of you, that can be true of my grandmothers, that can be true of my grandfather who's slowly losing his mind in El Paso. But what happens when you lose your mind is if you're already like a toxically masculine man who can't deal with his own life or the crumbling factor of his body and ego, you just turn into an even bigger piece of shit. Most people see this on their hero's journey and they're like, this I can change. This is my moment. I'll be nice to people. I'll give a fuck. Some people just yell at waiters. Think about that. Open and before, the infant reproaches found in M's. Her last space on this earth, we sat and talked of the reactor nucleus breathing. I miss your sleep on my feet terribly. The centers seek about the weather speaking situational kindness. The type of kindness we're talking about when people let you in and hold you kindly, when they cook you dope-ass pasta with just the right amount of kick. Bore them the sun moon, the swirl of renewed ultraviolet, and the apt plates of war, shuddering doom, shuddering the masses of profound words. Here there is something beyond theorem, resonance, specificness, the ordained announcements of the tooth solar spell. I believe in you, is what you say as you call me early in the morning. Feet as cold as the chest of how many framed, refracted tents. I'm amazed that so many people are sleeping under the eaves of buildings. Amazed that they still find the strength to move. And also amazed that I'm seeing them in some sort of weird decline, right? I'm also kind of, maybe I'm in a weird place in San Diego, but I have not seen any tents. And it's not a good feeling when you look out and you're like, I don't feel at home because there's not a lot of like destitution around. That's not a good thing to feel about any fucking place. Regardless of the person you are. There's this kind of level of destruction we've all kind of grown used to. Because there ain't nothing we can really do about it. Breathing in. 6/14/24 is no more. Stately, bared, carried in paladin gown, battle damage entients. They find the vying under better light and weight, against the heart for no more furtherance. Oh, damn the trying who bled below the bridge's vanity. The gain all at once it's seizing, alike the kiln to call you and to show you that I am here. Early in the morning, you speak, and your hands are animated. Your eyes glinting as the volumes of every piece of middle management in your body speaks forward. I have heard the story again and again and again. I see the packs of coyotes leap through your eyelids. And more I find at the end of this story, at the beginning of the story, each time, but definitely, as the sun pours itself through, I find myself somehow more enamored. I find somehow that there's a deep love in me that is breathing as it announces that the vats of itself are somehow retreating. Hit me up on Instagram, follow me. Thank
For coughing during it, so extra applause. Thank you so much. I feel like I'm getting a sense of unpoetry, maybe?
Yeah.
Other than that? Yeah? Well, an honor to have you and Sylvan all the way from up north. So thank you. Oh, another one. Yeah. All right, y'all, closing us out, we have a duo tonight. Akari Komura and Natalia Merlano Gomez. Akari Komura is a sound, text, visual artist from Tokyo, Japan. Her work centers around contemplative engagement with listening and sound making. She is interested in focusing attention on the intimate, impermanent, and vulnerable qualities and blurring the boundaries of individual and collective, of life and art, and performer-audience dichotomy. Akari is a PhD composition student at the University of California, San Diego. And when asked what Akari is feeling lately, Akari responded, persimmons. Natalia Merlano Gomez is a musician, singer, vocalist, improviser, and creator. She has been captivated by experimental music, worldwide folk music, improvisation, graphical notation, explorations with electronic devices, and extended vocal sounds. All right, welcome them both, please.
Having us here, and I really wanna, this is kind of really nice to be in this poetry reading and performing, and I think this is for both of us first time to be at poetry reading and performing, so I really, thank you so much. And this kind of was a piece that emerged from this collaborative piece that was originally a part of this multimedia performance involving visual art, but we wanted to kind of separate this spoken part as a standalone piece for this reading. So it'll be kind of a special first time iteration of this piece called Falling Drops in a Breeze. So, and we will perform acoustically without any mics, so yes. And I want to invite you to also kind of breathe together, and it's kind of a meditative piece, so, and yeah, just relax. If you want to close your eyes, I want to invite you to kind of relax, breathe together. So.
March 1st, I heard my
March 1st,
beating,
you heard your heart beating.
I heard my heart beating with my fingers.
Breathe.
I touched my heart with my
Beating.
breathing.
March 2nd,
Breathing.
I heard soft rain
Morning.
waking me up
Waking
in the morning.
rain. March 2nd, I touched the drizzling.
Morning.
I touched the drizzling as a green leaf. I
Morning.
taste my childhood in a tiny gummy bear. I saw the drops.
You
The
saw.
drops.
You saw
The
the drops
drops.
going down as little rivers. March
The
3rd.
drops. Brook.
I saw a
Brook.
small brook streaming on the sidewalk.
Streaming sidewalk.
I tasted a
Oh.
warm bowl of
Streaming
porridge.
sidewalk. March 4th.
Saw
I saw my shadow
Shadow.
on a sunny
Sunny.
morning walk.
shadow, sunny,
I taste a cup of hot
silent
chocolate.
softness. I heard the
Sunny
softness of
side.
silence. I touched
Water.
and tasted the clarity of water.
Marsh. I smell the lavender from my body salt scrub. I
Skin
touch it
salt
with my skin.
with your skin,
my
your
skin March.
6th.
My skin March.
I've heard the voice of human as a bird. I saw the sky dim
I heard the
into
sun.
grayness. You heard the clouds saying, cry.
Green.
You
I
heard the clouds saying, we need to cry a little bit more.
Sun,
salt, saying
skin,
7. March 7th.
7.
I tasted the
lime
small
and mud.
sweet berries.
You
You tasted
the small
lime
sweet
and
berries.
mint. You saw yellow flowers and touched them. I
You
saw the sky with a fragment of rainbow. You tasted lime and mint. You saw
the
yellow
sky
flowers
with a
and
fragment
touched
of
them.
rainbow.
Speaking of Friday night poetry, that was transporting. Thank you so much. All right, y'all. Those are all of our readers and performers tonight. If I could get one more round of applause for everybody. And I'm going to thank the Brown Building again. Such an honor to gather here. And also thank you to Akari for connecting us with Maddie. Scout, we wouldn't be here without you. Thank you again to Joe for the sound setup, to Burn All Books for these wonderful chairs you're sitting in. I want to shout out to Olga again. This reading series wouldn't have started without her. It's not something I would have done on my own, and she has passed it on to keep it going, which can be daunting without her logistical mind, but I'm really grateful to her. That's why we're all here. And something's going on. It's for poetry, I think. All right, well, we have some of the authors and performers tonight have brought some books and zines and such that are on the back table for sale. We also have our first issue of Peel Lit for sale. There are stickers for Peel Lit that are free, so please take them. And also some leftover soda water and clementines for you to peel and enjoy. A couple events coming up. We have Lucia's Open Mic and Showcase, Hola Hola, is December 13th at Bread and Salt. At what time, Lucia?
At 7 o'clock.
7 o'clock at Bread and Salt, December 13th. Also, Kevin Carney runs the Small Press Night, which is at Book Catapult. The next one, I believe, will be in January. Did anyone who was just at it get the next date?
January.
It is January,
I think so.
but we don't know the date. They're not on Instagram, so you just have to go word of mouth. But keep an ear out for them. It's a wonderful series. And then lastly, we cannot pay our readers and performers yet. I keep saying we. I guess it's just I, also Olga from far. And also shout out to Ana Carete. Is she here? She's not here. She is also supports these readings usually as well. Anyways, we can't pay our people yet. We hope to one day. There's a little tin in the back if you happen to feel like donating. Any money we get from that would just be split up equally amongst our performers to just say thanks for gifting us with their work tonight. Okay, I think that's all I have on my little paper here. So thank you so much again for gathering with us tonight. For being a part of the collective inside the Peel, if you will, and see you next time.
Thank you.